is Bryce Nanakwesi Amani, and this is In Focus. So the Osielo was here with Nelly Awola Mensa, and the name they mentioned, I don't want to try. But if you listen to the conversation, you might know exactly what happened on there. So we make sure every Thursday we talk to you about the eye. Make sure you're taking good care of your eye, because you know when it's dark, it's dark. Trust me, when your eye is gone, it affects your brain, it affects your thinking, it affects everything. So make sure you are taking good care of yourself. So shouts to Nelly Olamensa and the Osielo Optical Services for make sure that we learn about our eye each and every Thursday. So here on InfoCourse this morning, let's still talk about coronavirus and what exactly is causing the nation. So the president on Sunday made some revelations and briefings and told us that social gatherings have been banned, including religious gatherings and all that. Let's focus on Christianity. Let's focus on our churches, because he has a lot. That has a lot of numbers here in Ghana, if I may say. And so we are still talking. What exactly is happening to these bodies? What are their plans? Are they still going to make sure they have their church in place? Are they going to go on Facebook Live? Are they going to go on Twitter? Are they going to go on Instagram, YouTube Live? What exactly are they going to do? And how are they even going to be getting the offertories and their monies to make sure the church is still active and run in a good way? And so I'm joined still by another bishop, another man of God. So we started discussion actually, as we're looking at what exactly it means for churches to be involved in all this happening here in Ghana. We spoke to Reverend Pastor Otu yesterday, and he has a very interesting view. And so today we still want to talk about it from another perspective and another point of view. And so I'll be joined still by Bishop King David L.C. Abazeri. Whenever I'm about to mention this, I just want to take my time. I don't get it wrong. Abazeri. So you're still with me here is Bishop King David L.C. Abazeri. What church are you coming from?
Christ Oilfield Authority Church.
Christ Oilfield Authority Church. Do you know why I let you mention the church yourself?
No.
Because I like the authority, the oil authority in there. It's very authoritative.
Great.
So I like to hear you say it yourself.
Great.
I'm here with Bishop King David L.C. Abazeri, and we are talking about what exactly the church intends to do in this particular pandemic era as the globe is being swept away with sadness. Welcome once again, sir.
Thank you.
Now, the president is saying that no church, all because we don't want to see a huge number of people gather, but the clubs can operate in a manageable way. When you heard that, what was going through your mind? Did you even listen to him in the first place?
Yeah. It was Sunday before midnight.
Yes. That was 10 p.m. exactly.
Yes, and the president came in a televised address to the nation, directing that all religious organizations and other bodies be temporarily suspended for 4 weeks following the coronavirus pandemic. And it is in the effort of leadership to find solution to the problem. So for the time being, it has to be like that, following the directives of the president and the national leadership. And the church is responding to that situation appropriately. So I think that every church will have its own way of responding to it. But collectively, you just have to go by the standard that the president is spoken, and there's a crisis at hand. So we have to all rise up and make sure that it's fully held well and contained, so that we don't endanger our lives and we don't endanger the lives of our people. Yes.
Now, we are looking at getting the word into the homes, because which I know pastors and men of God here in Ghana are like particular about. You want everybody to listen to the word regardless where they are. Now, I don't know what you plan to do with your church and how you want to go about it, but not every man of God or every pastor, should put it, is happy about this. But you seem to you seem to have taken it in good faith. Why that? Why that in the first place?
When the news broke following the directives, we had to come out with an appropriate response from our side. And as leader of the church, I had to do a quick reflection on the situation. And then I come out with a few things. For example, we are guided by 4 principles. The first one is taking heed, because according to scripture, we have to take heed to ourselves as men of God and women of God, so that in so doing we don't endanger the lives of our followers, and also will be able to continue in doctrine. So that is a core thing that had to be considered first and foremost. And then the second thing is we had to now consider what we needed to do about the flock of God, of which we have been made overseers and pastors over. And so we have to make sure that the flock of God, the church membership, is protected against the virus in the way that we can, following the protocol that the nation is laid out for all to follow in order to avoid contracting the virus. So we had to make sure that that is said over and over to our people. And so that aspect of taking care of the flock, and that side agrees with the president's directive. Because
but what don't you agree with? It looks like you have your own reservation, aside the fact that you're okay with the church not happening because of the social gathering to prevent the coronavirus from spreading around. But it looks like you have your own reservations. Which are those?
Yes, and my reservation actually, it had to do with the church itself, the general church leadership. When the situation started, I expected the leadership of the church, because we have various church leadership in the church in the country. So I was expecting the church as a body to come out and present a paper or a front to let us know that this is what is happening worldwide, and we haven't received ours yet. We are praying not to get it. But should it happen, this is the way things should go. So
you wanted the leaders of the churches to actually come out with their own statement before the president even
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I was kind of expecting. And I also thought that the president's announcement was abrupt.
Is that what you think? Why did you say that?
It was too sudden.
You think it's too sudden?
Yes.
Because people are saying that he kept too long in putting ban on certain things like that.
No. If they say that, people already have some people have their own ulterior motives. That you can do the right thing for the wrong reason, or you can do the right thing with the wrong motive. So there are people who are rejoicing just because they don't like the church.
So what were you expecting the president to do before the announcement of the ban?
I heard from the president that he did some kind of consultation with stakeholders. I don't know the leadership of the church that he consulted with, but the leadership of the church that he consulted with did not inform the church.
So you wanted to be giving pre-notice before the announcement?
Exactly.
But weren't you expecting this?
No, we know that it's something that is happening in the world, and we were told and we're being cautioned, and everywhere you pass, at least now it's one thing that the media is done well, and everybody is trying to sound the trumpet and let you know the precautionary protocol that is in place for the disease to be contained and for you not to be infected. So if you are going by that, I think that's okay. And for us, we are believers, we are Christians. We believe in divine power, that God can stop the disease and God can heal the disease. So with that, we don't really have to become so afraid and close down churches.
But what I want to know is, weren't you expecting that this particular ban will happen? Because countries are on lockdown, cities are on lockdown, people are not even moving. I was speaking to a friend this morning who is in Canada, and according to what we were discussing, I was told that even where he is, there is nothing like movement. It's like a ghost town. You don't see grocery stores are like closed and all that. You don't see anybody moving. That's like them taking it really serious. You understand? Churches are not happening. If celebrities who are musicians and planters are not performing in their rooms and streaming live on Facebook for people to watch and all that. So weren't you expecting that if you get to our end, you might have to go off for a while? Didn't this cross your mind as church leaders?
It did, but the thing is always cause and effect. See, there's always causality. Now, if the cause does not come up, the effect is inconsequential. So, if we put in place strategy that will make sure that it doesn't enter here at all. I mean, that's set. Just put in place systems to make sure that it doesn't enter here at all. So that if it doesn't enter here, why do we need to shut down?
So are you now saying that the president or the government is responsible for the thing coming into the country in the first place? Because like you say, if you hadn't come here,
yes,
it would have been shut down.
No, they wouldn't have shut down.
So are we now blaming the government?
I'm just opposing this point with the previous point of other cities, because this thing has really brought pressure to presidents, governments, and cities and towns and people. And we really sympathize with everyone that has been affected. I'm not trying to be heartless about that. I'm really careful about what I'm saying. But if you put in place a strategy that, no, we are not going to allow this thing to enter into the country by all means at all costs, then what you are automatically saying is that you don't need to shut the city down.
But before churches were asked to go on retirement for some time, the thing has already been here. We had already recorded 2 cases, and at the time, on the night when he came to make the announcement, additional 4 cases has happened, and making it 6. So you think amidst all this, it was still advisable for us to still operate as churches?
Yes, we can still operate, but with some level of discretion. Because if
what level of discretion are you talking about?
The level of discretion is that whatever preventive measure you use as a people, as a family, to protect yourself against it. When you come to church, apply the same thing so that it won't affect you.
You don't sing, you don't pray, you don't talk. This is like church with masses. Home can be about 6 or 5 or 4 people living there.
No, so there could have been a directive that the masses should be held with sizable numbers.
So who are going to select to come to church? Who doesn't come to church?
No, if you leave that with the church authority, they know how to organize the church.
Interesting. This is very interesting. This is a very interesting comment I'm making right now.
Yes.
You would have preferred sizable numbers.
Yes.
In the church room.
Yes.
How are you going to regulate that? Tell me about you are a head of a church. How are you going to ensure that a sizable number comes to a church?
Look, every church, all the churches you find here, they run by cell system. They run by group system. So within the church knows how to deploy its strategy to meet its people at cell level and at church group level.
Interesting. Now, the president is saying that if there's going to be any social gathering, like funerals and all that, the number shouldn't be more than 25 people.
Yes.
How were you going to do that?
Well, that's the stipulated number. So when you are doing something, maybe a funeral service or something, you have to send a message across.
But for the church,
yes,
how were you going to make sure you have just 25 audience in your auditorium?
It's possible to be able to do that.
How were you going to do that?
The church has different angles and different facilities within the church installation. There are a lot of churches here with mega churches with different rooms and all kinds of things taking place. So people could meet in small areas in the church.
Not every church has that. You might have a big auditorium or a big space where you have a division of rooms. You have about 6 rooms where you can use them all that.
That even makes the point. So even if your church is not even big, the better. Because
so if your church is not big,
yes, you just divide the people. You just know if already you have, let's say, 50 people, you just divide them into 2.
But why do we seem so worried about the fact that the church or religious bodies should close for some time? We've been having services for like God knows how long, and we have a serious issue happening. A pandemic that is like sweeping the whole world and causing a lot of havoc. And we are just saying, within this period to this period, don't open for some time. It's not forever, for some time. So why are we so worried?
You see, I am not against the president's directive. If you check my submission very well,
yes,
I am, and because if the first point I said we put in place is that we have to take heed to ourselves and we have to protect the flock of God. So whatever we are doing to protect ourselves and to protect the church is what I am for.
But in other words, you are still saying that you could have operated.
Yes, there should be some kind of limited operation. Okay.
So where do you stand exactly? Do you stand for the fact that it's okay for the church to be closed, or you stand for the fact that church can operate by different sizable numbers?
No, for now, since it's happened like this, that the church has to be closed down. I mean, that's okay.
No, I'm asking because a number of pastors are still talking and asking the president to revise the ban and all that. So if you also are able to state your voice and what exactly you want, maybe it can also go on the paper. What do you make of that?
I'm not going to insist that the president should by all means remove the ban and let churches come. I'm not going to do that. I had wished that we were consulted well to prepare ourselves, sensitize our people very well that this is what is going to happen. Nobody expected a close down.
I expected it.
No,
it's a pandemic and it's a airborne something. So I actually expected it.
No, it hadn't gotten to that level.
You think so?
No.
Even 6 people, you don't think?
Imagine
somebody came to Ghana on a flight where the flight has about 100. Just saying, 100 passengers. The person comes and the person is found positive. Have you checked the 100 people on board who came to Ghana? So far, we've been able to locate just 7. Are we thinking of the numbers of people that they might have come in contact with? If you are just going to use the number who have now been found positive, the 7, then we cannot say we are all safe. But how are we thinking of the extra numbers they might have come in contact with?
I'm not an expert in that area, but understand I'm speaking for.
That's like a normal question for anybody.
I'm speaking for church, and I'm saying that it is good that they did that, but to just say that shutting down just like that is the process that may have a little issue with.
But okay, I understand. So which part of the shutting down? Is it because you're not going to get a message directly to your audience? What exactly is the problem here?
It's part of it. If you the Western world you are citing, for example, that they now do their things and on
via the internet,
and stuff like that. It's good. This nation is not well digitized, right? A lot of people are not digitized in this country, where everything we do now is largely based on manual operation and local space operation, which unfortunately predisposes us to the spreading of the disease or the condition, hence the directive to close down. But then also, if we have to close down and use other means to reach our people, what that means is that it's possible that some people would not be able to reach their flock because there are people they don't have email address, even they don't have anything. Even phone is a problem.
But do we know that in other countries too, in a place where I know Ghana, we have a lot of compound houses here in Ghana.
Yeah.
They're happy outside us. Mexicans have that as well. Yeah. There are a lot of countries with these compound houses, even though they are 12 buildings and all that. They still compound houses. Now, people are standing in their corridors and having churches done because everybody is standing in their corridor and still singing, even though they're not together. There's a distance. Can't we do the same thing? Do we necessarily have to go to a confined or a definite place to worship? Do we have to do that necessarily before we can share the word of God?
Yes, that also has its place. Okay. We don't go to church for fun.
Yes.
We go to church because it's part of the requirement of the Christian faith to be in church. But that does not mean that when there's the need not to be in church, you don't adhere to it. You adhere to it, like this one that we are talking about. But people should not let it look like, all the time going to church has not been necessary. No, it has always been necessary.
I've not heard anybody saying that yet.
No, people say that. It's like, why must, like, even if you infer in your statement, like, must you go to church? I mean, if you can be in your compound house.
I'm not saying, what I'm saying is that we go to church all the time.
Yeah.
And this is a serious issue that's happening. It's taking lives. You understand?
Yeah.
And we are just saying, can't we even be in our rooms and read the Bible, or even read the Bible on our own?
We do that all the time, and in addition to that, we go to church.
We know we go to church. I've been going to church all my life. So within 1 month of me staying home and reading my Bible on my own and listening to preaching on the radio and all that, would that be a problem for me as a Christian? Would that be a problem for me as a Christian?
It won't be too much of a problem, but if not for you, it can be a problem for somebody. remember that when we go to church, it's fellowship. Okay. It's fellowship. Take for example, if you in an unlikely event that somebody contracts the disease, and even the person is quarantined, maybe in a house or somewhere, and he doesn't have to talk to anybody. You don't have to, except maybe expert or health professional who come to attend to the person, and you just have to be at one place all by yourself alone. You can imagine how difficult it is. See, so when there's no problem and you are coming to church, these are some of the benefits you get, but you just don't think about that it's important that you come to church. It's important that you have public worship. That is part of the expression of our faith.
I still feel like we don't know how serious the issue
No,
is.
No. If you say that,
I still feel that.
No, I don't.
We are trying so hard to desist from public gathering. We are trying so, but if you are still saying that we are supposed to go back, and I'm still trying to get a connection.
No. Maybe you are not getting the point well. Nobody. If you say that, it's creating an impression like, I'm not in favor of the directives that churches should not.
No, you made me understand that, but it's like we still don't know how serious this is.
No, I think we now know.
Is that the case?
Yeah, we know how serious it is, because not receiving the message that don't go to the mosques, don't go to church, that in itself is a serious business. Now you go out, sometimes the kind of people you used to see outside, you don't see people like that anymore.
Yes.
And so it's really going down well, and people are sitting up, and we are on our toes. So for me, it's really going on well. But you see, when things like this happen, in the first place, there are all kinds of commentaries about the disease, about why the church is closed down. I mean, if it is just for the pandemic, like we said, the church is closed down for the pandemic, for it to be resolved. I mean, who doesn't want solution? Who wants to die? Who wants to be infected? Nobody wants to be infected. So we are all for it. But the motive that you will find behind it, like some people are happy that the church is closed down. When we speak, we are responding to those people that know. We are responding to a health crisis. The president.
I think that should be the main motive. That
yes.
know that it's not because we are closing down because we don't like to worship.
Yes.
It's down because there's a